Hi, today we're going to make some lion's mane shawarma. So, lion's mane can be a little tough to get a hold of it, but if you do, it is so worth it. You want to grab about 2 to 3 large balls of it and slice them up into chunks, so that they're still huge and kind of the size of maybe a hamburger bun, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle these with shawarma seasoning that I purchased at the store, ready made. Go ahead and pour some olive oil in an iron skillet if you have one, because that holds heat really well and is very non-stick. So go ahead and add some olive oil, about a tablespoon. Put the lion's mane on the heated pan. You want to have a really hot pan. Place a parchment paper and then put a second really heavy pan onto your mushrooms. You want to squish them flat. As you can see here, I'm using an iron press and the iron pan. You want to leave them on about 5 to 7 minutes and then flip them over. You can see they're starting to get nice and golden. So just be careful not to burn yourself. I am told I have no nerve endings in my fingers. I probably don't. Flip them over once again. Add your parchment, and then if you need to add a little bit of oil, you can go ahead and check that. And put the weighted pan back onto the mushrooms to squish them flat again. You really want them squished flat to get maximum surface area pressed against the iron pan for that nice sear, for that nice browning. And the lion's mane mushrooms just drink up any seasoning and oil and stuff that you put on them, and they just are so delicious. Let them cook for about 5 to 7 minutes on each side. And then you're going to go ahead and add just a little bit more seasoning if you want. A little bit of salt if you need salt. I do like my food well salted and seasoned. So add your salt. A little more of the spice rub, whatever. You can actually use any spice rub that you like. I am using shawarma because that's the feel that I'm going for. So add that over them, and then now just let it cook on the iron pan just as it is. You don't need to press them anymore. They've been pressed enough. You're going to let them get a little more brown and sizzly and delicious. So let that happen. So while those mushrooms are cooking, we're going to take a high protein tofu and I'm going to slice it as thin as I can get it with my knife. It doesn't need to be crazy thin. A little texture feels nice. So in this shawarma, I'm actually mixing tofu and mushrooms so that I get 2 different textures going on, and it just gets a lot of different flavors. You get the high protein, which is nice. Mushrooms do have protein, but high protein tofu has more protein. So we're going to marinate this. You're going to slice it really thin, and then I'm going to put it in a pan. And in a separate bowl, we're going to start to mix our marinade. I'm taking some tomato paste, about 3 to 4 tablespoons of tomato paste. We're going to add some soy sauce for the salt. I'm using tamari over here, and tamari is gluten-free, so that's nice. And I'm going to add some more of the shawarma seasoning blend. You can use any seasoning blend that you like. I'm using the shawarma, as I said, and I'm just going to layer it onto the mushrooms, into the tofu, get it nice and mixed up and blended and soaking into my tofu. You want to add some olive oil in this blend as well, so that you get that nice fatty feel. So go ahead and blend about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in. And then we're going to take a separate pan and layer the slices of tofu, and then add a little bit of marinade, and then another layer of tofu, and then a little bit more marinade, kind of lasagna the marinade process a little bit. And that way every piece of tofu gets a little bit of the seasoning. We are going to bake this tofu off in the oven at about 350 for about 15 to 20 minutes. Or as you see, I'm going to air fry it. It just uses a little bit less energy. I'm going to air fry it for 350 for about 10 minutes. And the oven is fine and the air fryer is fine. If you want to do it right on the pan, in the pan on the stovetop, you can do that as well, but you want to do it in separate layers so you're not just getting a scramble. I mean, a scramble isn't a bad thing either. It tastes good, but just for visual effect, the slices are fun. Go ahead and air fry this or bake it. As I said, we're going to let it sit for about 10 minutes before air frying or baking. So I did let it sit for a little bit. And as I said, you can put it on the stove top if that's your thing. That's fine too. Whatever works in your situation. And go ahead and, message me if you need to and say, hey, does this work? And I can definitely let you know which processes are ideal for this. So you can see the mushrooms are nice and golden brown seared. Just that last bit of browning. And you're going to go ahead and remove the mushrooms onto a separate, I put them on my cutting board and just let them sit for a little bit and absorb all those flavors into them. So go ahead and just let them sit. When we put our shawarma together, we're gonna layer up the tofu on the bottom and the mushrooms, and then we'll put our salad that we are gonna make now. So I'm using a half an English cucumber. You can also use 2 regular slicing cucumbers. The first half of it I'm going to slice thinly for my salad. All right. So you can just, whatever size works for you. I like thinly sliced because they give you that crunch and they also absorb the flavors that we put in for the dressing. So we're going to do half the cucumber here, and then half the cucumber I'm going to use for my vegan tzatziki. All right. And you'll need 1 tomato. So we're going to slice. So also 1 red onion, of course. And this red onion is huge. So I cut it in half, and I'm just going to do half a red onion. Also, you don't need a lot of red onion in this, but a little bit just adds that zestiness, that oomph, that pungent, a little bit of bite you need. So thinly sliced red onion. And then, of course, no food from that part of the world is right without parsley. So I did save a little bit of parsley. I'm using one bunch of parsley in the whole recipe, but I saved 4 or 5 stems for the tzatziki, and the rest of the bunch I am using in the salad. So I do use stems and all. I think the stems have amazing flavor. Wash up your parsley really nicely, and then I just cut off the very tippy ends of the parsley stems, and then the rest of it I chop up and throw into my salads. I love parsley. It's really good for you, super healthy. It's a super herb, if you will, if that's a thing. And then you're going to put in half a lettuce bunch sliced into this salad. We're going to throw in some olive oil, 1 fresh lemon squeezed in, salt, pepper, and if you are a fan of any herbs, throw those in if you like them. More flavor is always better, according to me, and herbs just add such an amazing, flavor profile to everything. They just bump everything up a notch. Go ahead and blend everything together really nicely. Make sure there's a little bit of tomato, a little bit of cucumber, a little bit of onion in every bite. If you want to jazz it up a little more, you can even add capers or olives. There's so many ways to just really dress this up and make it delicious. Not to say that just salt, pepper, and lemon isn't going to do the job. It really does. Blend it all together. In a separate bowl, you're going to go ahead and grate up that second cucumber, or the second half of the cucumber, and we're going to squeeze out the water. So you're just going to grab the grated cucumber into a fist, squeeze it out, throw away the extra water, and hold on to the grated cucumber. We're going to add in about 1 cup of vegan yogurt. Blend it with the parsley that we saved, the 3/4 stems of parsley that we saved, half a lemon, some salt, some pepper, and again, if you like any herbs, thyme, oregano, dill. I tend not to add any dill because my son hates dill, but dill goes great in this. And of course, it's actually traditionally added to tzatziki. So just whatever herbs. Mint goes really well in this. So whatever herbs taste good to you, dried or fresh does not matter. As long as you let dried herbs sit for a minute or two, they kind of start to really, their flavors they wake up with the moisture. Blend it all together, let that sit for a few minutes. We're going to grab our tofu from the air fryer or the oven. The mushrooms are all ready. You're going to get your pita bread ready. I just used store-bought pita bread. So 4 to 5 pitas are perfect for this recipe. You have enough mushrooms and tofu, salad, and tzatziki to make 4 to 5 really scrumptious shawarmas. So, and this comes together really quickly. As long, you can be doing things simultaneously. While the mushrooms are cooking, you're slicing up and marinating the tofu. And while the tofu is happening in the air fryer or the oven, you're cutting up your salad and getting your tzatziki ready. So really, I think give yourself 20-25 minutes, store-bought pitas. The whole thing comes out delicious. So I'm just using that iron skillet again for my pitas. It's on medium, about a minute and a half on each side, really warms it up. Then you're going to go ahead and assemble your shawarmas. Slice up the mushroom before you put it on the pita. It just gets a really nice texture and you don't get awkward bites again. So nice warm pita. Smear on the tzatziki. Add the mushrooms and the tofu. Well, I put the tofu on first because it kind of absorbs any moisture. And then the mushrooms. And go ahead and add plenty of the salad. There's a lot of flavor in that salad. And wrap it up and prepare to be amazed. Enjoy.